Hey yo, welcome back. This is Ty Ty. We got a little special episode today. Got the homie AT in here.
What's going on?
So we're gonna be running through different types of software, our go-tos, and maybe ones we can't stand. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Alright, so starting off, compression. Favorite compressor, least favorite compressor. What you think?
I gotta go. My favorite one's probably gotta be an 1176. Probably my UAD 1176.
What color?
Blue stripe AE.
Blue?
Yeah.
See, my favorite's definitely the purple one. The UAD, what is it? Rev A?
Mm-hmm.
That one, that thing clutch, bro. Worst one? I already know mine, bro.
I gotta go
Don't hold back.
the Waves anyone. LA2A.
What, the CLA, LA2?
CLA2A. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of. I think the Waves, I don't think it's gimmicky, but there's just other emulations out there, and Waves has yet to update their emulations.
Yep.
And I feel like anytime anybody wants to emulate, like let's say a hardware plugin versus a CLA2A,
Yeah.
they always pick the CLA2A, and if they use a UAD one, they always use the legacy version I've seen, and you're not really getting an accurate representation of really what it is. And I think the UAD platform has now went native, and so they've switched their plugin model from DSP to native. So it's kind of a newest version of the plugin, but the CLA2A, the CLA76 has been around since they came, and has not changed. So I personally can think of other plugins companies from other than UAD that kind of outshine the Waves one to me. So
Like the purple
Purple
audio
MC
one.
audio, yep.
That one's dope.
Yeah.
My least favorite, it has to fall into Waves too. I would say the CLA76. Have you ever tried to track through that thing?
Never.
It's like there's a blanket on your mic, bro. Like, I had a feature come through and I just tried to record through dude's vocal chain.
Mm-hmm.
He sounded good.
Yeah.
I tried to track through that 1176 and it did. It just sounded super, super muffled and I couldn't do it. And I swapped it out and put the UAD one on there.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal clear. The rest of his chain was perfect. But I will say, I'm cool with mixing.
Yeah.
With the CLA76. Sounds good. It's got a certain type of characteristic to it.
Yeah.
But tracking through it's rough, bro. I can't do it.
I don't think any of the Waves plugins, to my knowledge, except for like a handful, are supposed to be low latency I know the real time auto tune, the Waves tune. I think that's real time and it's supposed to be low latency, but I don't think really any other ones are supposed to be like that, to my knowledge. Not for years. I don't know if they changed it.
I think they're easy to track through as far as like low latency, but that's why a lot of people switch shit out.
Yeah.
Because they get the low latency there. There's certain other plugins that I love how it sounds, but then when you try to track through it, it sounds crazy or you got too much latency. I can't do it. But I would say maybe the next one that I really am not a fan of is the H comp. Like their H delay, their compressor.
Yeah.
I don't like that thing, bro. I don't like that thing at all. So, how about EQ?
Favorite one?
Yup. We about to be matching on some of this shit.
Yeah. I'm going to go Pro Q3 just because of the universal. I typically like it as a...
Well, let's break it down then. Favorite subtractive EQ.
Pro Q.
Favorite additive EQ. So, we're both Pro Q on subtractive.
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with something that you're not gonna be prepared. On the second one, the favorite subtractive is obviously the Pro Q. Just the flexibility with that, and to be able to use it as a dynamic mode.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily taking it out the entire time. I only take it out of frequency when it's too much. Being able to do that.
The dynamic mode is dope.
Being able to do that, people don't do that a lot. They just notch it at 300K.
Yeah, and then you
or
lose
3K.
all that fidelity in
And
that
you lose
section on everything.
But I only want it out when it's too much.
Facts.
Right? So being able to switch it on dynamic mode with a click of a button, that's dope. My favorite additive EQ, I'm gonna hit you with The Millennia NSEQ2. Yep. Hit him
I
with
knew
it.
that was coming. That thing
Yep.
is dope. Uh, it is dope. I find it to be a little too much. Because I noticed that you get a lot of that analog saturation with it, which is dope. But I use other plugins to kind of bring that in. I would say my favorite additive has got to be. It's actually a Waves plugin. The GEQ. I love that thing.
So that's like your SSL.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use that all the time.
Yeah.
That one, and I would have to say maybe the Mag 4.
That was the number 2 for me. But
That's probably my top 2 go-tos. There's a couple from Sonomus that I really like, but man, you can't beat that. And I'm talking specifically like wide range of additives. Now, if it was to be a little more like a 2-band, Pultec every time.
right. Can't go wrong. Never
But
go wrong.
I need some mid action.
Need
and
it.
I'm not a big fan of the Pultec mid.
Right.
Like the full
Just the one that's
the
just
Legacy
mid.
Pro
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they have an actual one that's just.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It's like the other one's the EQ1P or something like that.
EQP1A, yeah.
But the other one, I can't think
And
of the name
they have
of
one
it,
that
but
literally are just filters too.
yeah, it's a waste.
I've used it though.
a
I ain't gonna
waste.
lie, I've used it.
Fair.
Yeah.
You still get that saturation through it?
Nah. It's just filters, just like low end, high end, high roll off, low roll. That's
Yeah,
all
you
it
could
is.
use that Pultec just for low key saturation. Just turn that bitch on. Everything.
Just the color, boom,
Right
Yeah.
up. All right, so let's move on. Let's do, well, shoot, least favorite. You have one, EQ.
I'm gonna go HEQ. I think they have an EQ potentially, but if not that,
They have the REQ, that 6-band. It's kind of
Yeah.
limited.
it is limited. But I mean, people could go like the stock EQ from Pro Tools.
I hate that
EQ
one.
7-band. I personally, I don't use it a lot. There's only certain things I use it for. And
Yeah.
like, because the way I learned some things based on what I've showed, shout out Russell, he showed me certain things like how he likes to approach, like maybe clean up the low end on a 2-track.
Yeah.
And he showed me with the EQ band, EQP, the 7-band EQ. So ever since he showed me, I just do it the way I was showed. And that's like literally what I use it, literally it. But I used to use it for my sweeps.
Yeah.
I said used to. I don't use it anymore. And we'll
I've
get to
seen
that
you
probably
do that.
later. So as far as just that, I mean, I don't really use the EQ, the 7-band EQ on Pro Tools anymore, except for that. Other than that, I don't really use it. Sometimes I use it for the telephone effect if I care, but I still lately been using. I like to use the Infinity EQ from Slate.
I don't have any Slate stuff. I have Fresh Air and their Heat, but I never even used it.
The
I
Infinity
downloaded
EQ is. I feel like it's their version of the Pro Q.
it. Okay.
It's cool. It has a lot of presets in it. So I use the ad-lib filter is what I use as the presets a lot on my ad-libs a lot,
Yeah.
which is really just telephone effect, but I still like it.
See, if I'm using anything for sweeps, I'm using the one knob filter. So easy. And I
100%.
feel like they add like some extra. And granted, you got the resonance control down at the bottom,
Yeah.
but I just most of the time leave it at like moderate or medium,
Yeah.
and I get that perfect underwater sound. But if I'm to choose an EQ that I can't stand, it would have to be any analog emulation that just has too much going on. Like, some of them, bro, you look at it and I'm like, what is going on? Like, if I have to sit there and really, like, calculate
gotta
what
read
I
it.
need to do,
No,
I don't like it. Now, I will say, as far as mastering goes,
that.
the Chandler EQ, it's so good.
Now, how do you feel about the comment? It's like a debacle where you use your ears versus your eyes, like a
For
graph.
additive, yes, I don't like graph.
A graph versus like you have to analyze. You can see where the weight, like what frequencies hitting what, versus, like just like maybe a Pultec where you don't see nothing. You just got to use your ears. What do you think about? What do you prefer?
For subtractive, I like the graph. For additive, I prefer not to use it. Like I recently got the Better Maker just because I wanted to compare it to the the UAD one, and it's different. But I do like some of the extra stuff. Like you got the saturation, you got high pass, low pass on it. But it has the ability you can turn on a graph if you like it. I wish that wasn't even there. I don't use it, but it's just, to me, it's those types of EQs, you don't need that, bro. Like,
Bro, I understand where you're coming from. And I think Tizio said if you can use both. Until I told you the other day it happened to me, like the monitors I was using at the time were boosted at 3K, so I'm hearing it, but it's not there. And it was funny because I looked at the graph and it was missing in the analyzer. But I didn't hear it, but it was missing. So like
on certain things,
to be able to see it, as long as your monitors are good, but mine wasn't at the time. It was there was something in the interface or something causing a bump at 3K, so we had to recalibrate it at the studio. So I was missing, but I could hear it.
I get that. I guess the way I look at it is like, in the way I do my mixing, it's subtractive, some compression, and I end up doing some additive. But later on in the chain, I'm doing some dynamic EQ, like almost at the very end of my vocal chain. And that's where I can see more. And then past that in my master bus, I run that adapt AB metric at the end. So then I got visualizers later on. But specifically for that, like I got the, the Pulsar passive, like the Manly. And I turn it on to where you have the the graph on it. It kind of turned me off against the whole plugin. I ain't used it since. And then, so what about different types of tape saturation?
I'm gonna go one plugin because you can get them all.
Okay.
Spectre.
Spectre?
And you can determine what frequency gets saturated.
Specifically tape saturation? Because we're going to do tape and tube separate. So you still going to stick to it?
I'm going to stick to it.
Okay. I don't have that, so I can't speak on it. But I would say, as far as tape goes, I got the APB. So I've been using their tape. But if I'm to use plugins specifically, I ain't gonna lie, I love the Oxid from UAD. If I want to add some weight to some stuff, I've actually still been using it in console after the auto tune. I might be switching that out with the Pultec, but just to add some weight to hit certain tones that I want to hit, especially on like some more trappy type stuff while I track. But yeah, that sits really well with me. But if I was to the Ampex, I do like that one a lot too. I still like the J37 from Waves, but I do not like it on my mix bus.
Right.
It kind of kills the bass. There's something about it, just kind of like, the mids and the highs sound crisp, but the lows, it ain't cutting it. I would say because of that, the J37 might have to fall into my least favorite. No, the Kramer. I hate that. The Kramer.
I was about to say something. The Kramer has a setting of it's like soft, gentle compression.
Yeah.
It's just like a preset, plus I tweaked it. I like that on the mix bus. It sounds great. I just like how it glues everything together. I've only used it a couple times, but like when I need that, I go for that Kramer tape.
I don't like the interface. There's something about it that like.
Just close your eyes when you do it.
I don't know where nothing's at anyway. So that's why I don't like it. So.
It's just simplicity. But I do like the Oxide as well. That's a good one. Oxide's pretty solid. But
yeah, that one's dope.
My least favorite one, I never really messed with the J37 either. So I never.
Yeah. It's so smooth, bro.
I never really messed with it.
Smooth.
But there's so many out there that I just don't.
I bought that TRex bundle.
Yeah.
And it has a bunch of tape emulators in it. I ain't even touched them.
And same, I haven't.
It's got a bunch of different like API EQs and shit too. I mess with them a little bit.
Oh, so I'm gonna go the virtual tape machine. You haven't used it, I don't think. It's a Slate digital one, maybe.
Dope.
That is just, especially when you got tape machines that can go all the way up to 30 inches per second, which is the brightest setting. Some like the oxide only goes that they only go like 15.
Yeah.
So that is why I like that weight. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you want to add a little shine, a little high end sheen.
That's fair.
But I'd say my top two tied would probably be Spectre. But Spectre's kind of, you can do it all. So maybe Spectre's kind of unfair. So if I take that out, I can get tape, I can get tube, I can get solid state. So I'm gonna change it to go virtual tape machine. Just because you can
Fair
get
enough.
that, and there's settings that you can kind of get whatever you want. And I just feel like it literally lives on my mix bus.
Fair. So then moving into tube saturation, you back to Spectre?
I might go back to Spectre. Either Spectre or
Blackbox.
Blackbox is solid.
Love Blackbox.
They have Waves has this Waves. They got this plugin called Butch Vig. I think it's called Butch Vig Vocals. They have a saturation section in it, and it sounds. You can go tube to solid state.
It's that weird looking wheel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was showed that once, and I'm like, yo.
Dope.
You can definitely hear the difference between solid state saturation and the tube saturation. And it's just like, that kind of let me know the difference. And basically, like, if I need this, if I need that, I'll sometimes reach for that. And it's just like...
Might have to get that then.
But it's like...
I've seen it, but I ain't never used it.
I only use it for the saturation. Like, if I use it, it's only for the saturation. But just like, yeah, you could definitely hear it. You could definitely tell. And if you need it, I just grab for it. But Spectre can do that as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, especially even Class B tube, like Class A tubes and then Class B tubes, like they can do Class B tube saturation. It's a setting on Spectre. So I probably got to go Spectre for this one, but my number two would probably be probably the same.
So have you stopped using Blackbox?
I have.
Spectre took that over?
It did.
Damn, Blackbox is still, I would have to say, as far as plugins go, because like I said, the APB, I'm using saturation, tube, and tape through there. Mm-hmm. But plugin wise, I love the Blackbox, especially like with the mid side. I used to run that a lot in my masters. Might still. I ain't done no mastering in a little bit. But I still love Saturn 2 too.
Saturn 2 is cool. I've used it probably a couple times. I used it on a song that sounded really good. I love the way it sounded.
But I'm sure you can kind of do the same thing with Spectre.
You probably could. But I think the biggest one that I literally forget about that I probably use on my mix bus, if I use it on all vocals, is probably Infuse. And I use the Neve setting, and I use their drive, which to me, I'll turn everything off but that. I'll roll off 20, maybe 20, 30 hertz. I'll link the gain link, and I'll drive the input and the output goes down at the same time, and then I'll literally just use the saturation.
Interesting. See, the only I noticed when I was using the Infuse, I kind of was only using some compression, the imager, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use the whole thing because that's crazy, but
you could.
The saturation on that, to me, is the Neve saturation, and that's why I'm going to get some Neve tape emulators, hardware, 500 series. Those are coming. But
facts. But
that's the closest thing I got to that until that.
We unplug-ins today.
Right.
Hardware, man. Fuck it. Oof. I'm lit up on that. Favorite reverb? It's a tough one. There's a good bunch of good ones out there. If you Desert Island,
Valhalla.
You got one. Valhalla?
Yeah, it's got to be the Valhalla one. Because you can get the vintage reverb, and then you got 1970s, 80s, and then now you have 3 settings on that one reverb, and you can do so many things with that one reverb.
True.
210% that one, for me.
I ain't been using it, to be honest. I would say lately I've been really big into lexicons, and then I got Seventh Heaven. I've been using that a lot.
Both lexicons are in my template. They live there.
Yeah.
I bring them in if I need them, but what's always there is the Valhalla. It's fairly new. I just got it probably like a year or two ago.
See, I feel like with the Valhalla, I can't get them really thick, long tails that I want. I feel like I can get long ones, but they sound really thin to me.
I put an MV2 after it, or a decapitator.
Fair.
Sometimes, just to give it some thick saturation. And it's just like, it adds what you're talking about, but because there's certain plugins I can't get what I want with just that. I have to add something after
Fair.
that. But
And
the plugins
I
that you
hate
can
doing
get it
that.
all with that,
Yeah.
which I feel like we'll talk about here soon. It's just, I just want to be able to have one plugin and do everything I want. And sometimes you can't. Like you said, you can't get what you want from just that one you had to add to, but
Least favorite.
Reverb, Deverb from the stock plugin from Pro Tools. Like what?
It's okay.
It used to be my reverb plugin I used to, but I never used it
Yeah.
as a reverb ever.
I would have to say, and I specifically bought the TRex bundle for their reverbs.
Yeah.
I hate their reverbs.
Really?
All of them.
Huh.
They're complicated.
Yeah.
There's like just too much going on. Like, initial first look, it's like, oh, this is gonna be chill. It's got 5 knobs. Well, then you got 5 more knobs underneath it that have 10 knobs in each one, and it's like, bro, I don't have time.
It's too much
for all this shit.
Especially
Like,
when you're trying to dial something in quick, you got somebody sitting behind you. Nah, I can't.
like the lexicons can be a little more in depth, but like it's still very simple to figure out. You got some sliders, and then pick your room, whatever, like, and you're there.
I'll have a setting that I like. You can save that as a default, so every time that plugin opens, it comes up as however you have it. And then based off of
that.
Yeah, and then you can do it with any plugin in Pro Tools. So you can set your default setting your own way. So if you click on the plugin, it'll pop up your default setting.
See, I've never done that because sometimes I want the like full default, like everything at 0.
Yeah.
So I'll set my own presets and shit.
Yeah.
But delay.
Repeater.
100%.
There's no, I'm not.
Numero uno.
But that's technically in the Slate bundle. It's by D16, yeah. What comes in the Slate bundle.
I just have the one from D16.
Yeah, it's in the Slate bundle, but I have Echo Boy, because everybody uses Echo Boy, right?
It's dope.
It's dope, but like I had Repeater before I had Echo Boy.
The way you can pan them individual left and rights, bro.
On Repeater? And you can literally get any sound. I get you any sound you want as a preset right now.
Facts. The one thing I don't like about Echo Boy is
that sounds thin to me.
The ping pong always sounds off.
Yeah.
Always. It does. Like the H comp, love the ping pong. Repeater, love the ping pong. There's something about the way it pings and pongs with Echo Boy that like, dude, it just...
Yeah.
It
Repeater
never,
is
to
number
me,
one.
it never sounds in time, even though it's synced.
It's synced and it just don't sound right.
So I always would just use it for like single delay, and then just turn up the decay.
Yeah.
Or the feedback. I would have to say worst delay. Probably like stock. The mod delay from Pro Tools. Like I've heard some cool sounds out of that thing. It's complicated to look at.
You're also gonna have to use your send it through a reverb just to get it spacey. You gotta add saturation if you want it dirty. You gotta add like.
So it's just very, very bland.
It's very bland. I think my second worst is just. I still like Echo Boy over H delay, but H delay is probably number 2 just because it's so.
It's rich.
It's rich.
It's a very thick.
It's
sound.
a very thick one, but it's very. The most you can do is filter it.
Yeah.
And the lo-fi.
It's very, very. I love
very
the
simple.
lo-fi. The lo-fi.
You can lo-fi it, but like I said, when you're coming from Repeater, you can do anything, any sound you could think of. You could probably do it in the plugin.
Yeah.
I don't got anything else. You can. There's a stereo, so you can make it thicker. You can spread it. When you come from that to like H delay or like the mod, it's like, ugh.
Oh yeah, it's dope.
Not a fan.
Modulation. I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead.
I'd have to say top modulation, probably the H3000 from Eventide. Bro, you got slap delay, you got micro pitch, you got all this different stuff. Boom. In one plugin. And like realistically, you don't even have to know how to work the plugin because it's low key complicated.
Right.
But there is dozens of presets. And like go through, pick the one you want, boom. Like what I've done is just gone through and like saved different ones. That way I got my little list at the top and I don't have to go through the book. But that thing is super, super dope. And maybe to give Waves some credit, their Guitar Stomp bundle, it's got a flanger, tremolo, panner, all types of different things in these little like guitar pedals. And bro, you can get some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've used that one.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Super dope.
For me, modulation, it comes in a couple different forms. Because there's kind of different types, you know what I mean?
For
sure. As far as like a chorus or a kind of like a chorus effect, I gotta go probably the Studio D chorus from UAD. It's a Dimension D emulation.
I like the third knob.
I like that one. As far as flanger goes, ADA flanger probably.
UAD?
Yeah, it's a UAD plugin.
I think I have it, but I haven't really dug into it. I think that's one of those ones I got for like $3 with like a coupon.
Put that on. It's a vocal flange preset that I like, and then I tweak it. I think the mix is down typically, so you can maybe turn the mix up, get a little bit more. As far as you got flanger, you got chorus, you got those. I think those two you could damn near put them in a aux and then send it to anything you want. But for vocals, if I'm using Waves, probably has some going, but that guitar thing you talked about, that I loaded it up once and it was like the world's my oyster. There, you can do whatever you want. You can get any sound you can probably think of. You can get it. So
another good one though, I've been using a lot lately. It's kind of, I put it in the middle of my chain. The Sauce from DJ Swivel. I made that video about that shit. Bro, you got pitch, formant, chorus, flange, 2 different types of saturation, delay, reverb, and then you can also break it down in a multi-band and only put in certain sections. Kind of what I've been doing is just making some like creative chaos and then just putting in a little bit of it, just a touch. And like, dude, it, especially for like trap vocals, it creates that just extra little dirt that like you don't necessarily want to do with EQ, because then you're gonna just kind of mess some stuff up. But I've really got a newfound love for pitch shifting, and there's something specific about that. I can't. There's what, monophonic and polyphonic. That one's polyphonic, and like I tried to, because I wanted to make a comparison. I wanted to see if I could create with my favorite plugins of each, and then kind of have them in order the way it would be on that plugin. That plugin still beat it. Right. Like, it just, there's something about it. It rang in.
Yeah, you can't change what works.
Nope. So last but not least, we're both Pro Tools users. Least favorite DAW.
Audacity.
I mean, we all love to hate FL, but if I made beats, I'd definitely be over there part-time. But I'd have to say I was on Mixcraft before Pro Tools.
Same.
I ain't ever going back. It's good for beginners, but I think it's very limiting.
Yeah.
I feel like creating buses is very confusing on that thing. And if I'm not mistaken, everybody loves to sing the praises of Reaper. But when I tried using it before Mixcraft, I don't think you could use third-party plugins.
I think you can now.
Still,
just the VST3s, but
I'm good on it.
Yeah. Audacity was like the first one you ever, like 10, 15 years ago. You want to get into recording, use Audacity. It's free. And there's a reason why it's free. But
VFX.
Reaper is free too, but there's certain things you can't do.
Yeah.
I just think the industry standard for the last 20 plus years has been Pro Tools for recording and mixing. I think each DAW does something different. It's specifically designed to do something. They can all do similar things, like you can record yourself.
For sure.
You can mix yourself. You can do all that in most DAWs. But what does it the best? What is best for production? I think what I use and my favorite one, it depends what lane you're in, but I think the most overall one has got to be Logic. You can do everything in that. I've seen people do everything in Logic, record, mix, make a produce. You can do everything in Logic. Some people use Ableton, make a beat in Ableton, then fly the tracks into Pro Tools just to record and mix. So
yeah, it's just the thought of like flipping stems back and forth. It's just like,
I feel like the most
overall
one is Logic. You can do it all in Logic. FL Studio is made for production, but you can record vocals because I used to do it too. I'm not gonna knock on it because I used to do it too. But people that I know that produce and compose in Ableton would still prefer recording and mixing in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Pro Tools, as far as vocals go, is limitless. Like,
yeah, anything.
And they have things that they could add. You know, like I've been getting into hardware, and I had to figure out calculation for delay compensation the other day, and I seen a lot of the videos where people were just mad that like Pro Tools doesn't automatically calculate
for you. Yeah.
I wish it did, but it's really not that hard of a process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean it's solid. I mean I'm not changing. I think a DAW that has a lot of cool features that is on the rise is Luna.
Yes,
and they need I don't know if you can do, because I saw a video of an engineer, he was not switching fully yet because the hardware insert, they didn't have that capability yet. But if they have that, there's so many things like console emulation and tape and summing.
They don't have the capability of running hardware through it?
I don't think so. Because it's fairly new. It's only like 3-4 years old.
I feel like you got to come out the gate with that.
So the video I saw said they didn't have it yet, and that's why he hadn't switched yet. But just the summing, the API summing, the Neve summing, like there's so many things
that's what I was
out the box that you would want, but it's in the box in a DAW. Like what? And it sounds good.
Yeah.
People put DAWs say they don't sound different. They do sound different.
Yeah.
But I've heard people say Luna it sounds better in Pro Tools. It sounds better in Logic. Luna, Pro Tools, Logic. I think Pro Tools might have been 2 or 3. Yeah. So like Luna was number 1 though, because it sounds there's so many features you can do.
I've seen, I can't remember who it was, the big name dude. He would do all of his production in, as far as vocals and just mixing, in Pro Tools. Once he bounced it out, he'd throw it into Luna and run it through like the summing, and get the extra. Like, it's slick. We're both getting into hardware, so like, if that wasn't the case, I have Luna, and I was thinking about it. I'm going for the real deal. I ain't got time for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a summing mixer. So.
But shit, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully, we can keep some things going like this. Let me know in the comments down below what you'd like to see next time. I try to get AT in here as much as possible. After we get this wrapped up, we're gonna start tracking some new stuff, try to cook up a little bit. But yo, I'm gonna catch y'all next week. Peace.